Welcome to the Blind Loyalty Challenge. I am Amanda Cromhope from Truth Loyalty and the Blind Loyalty Trust. We interview world leaders in loyalty blindly. The challenge is about creating loyalty insight spontaneously and about a lot of fun. Simultaneously, it is about raising the awareness of the Blind Loyalty Trust, and 100% of the proceeds from my book, Blind Loyalty 101 Loyalty Concepts Radically Simplified, go towards the trust. We hope you enjoy the Blind Loyalty Challenge. Today's Blind Loyalty Challenge takes us to Portugal, but with a young man who is actually from Brazil. So I have the great pleasure of chatting today with Renato Carbone. He is a loyalty strategist, and we had the pleasure of meeting over a really interesting discussion about loyalty fraud. Renato, welcome to the Blind Loyalty Challenge.
Thank you so much, Amanda.
So my very first question for you is set by a wonderful friend of mine called Ros Neto. She works for Virgin Active, and they've launched a global loyalty program or rewards program. And her question is, what is the one thing lacking in the world of loyalty for consumers?
I would say real personalization, but when I say real personalization, is just because most loyalty programs only recognize me at checkout. So I don't have the experience from being a loyal member when I'm planning my next purchase, when I'm visiting your store, for instance. I It's just as the checkout that people say, "Oh, you have the card." So maybe there is an extra benefit focusing mainly on impulse purchase and not really on planning my life. So if they have my data, they just use it at the impulse purchase and not as a story to get me back to the store and to plan my future with that brand. So that's what I lack most.
Yeah, and everyone talks about personalization, but you only really experience it on such a small scale, like real personalization, as you say. Otherwise, it's literally to just various touch points. So I love that. Actually, great. Lovely, lovely answer. So my second question goes back to our initial discussion why we even met in the first place. So chapters 86 and 87 of Blind Loyalty are all about loyalty fraud. And this is the only place in the entire book where I broke my golden rule of having one chapter per subject because it is so important and so complex. So what, in your experience, has been the most shocking example of loyalty fraud?
The most shocking example, sadly, uh, normally loyalty fraud comes with exploiting of not closed loop rules. And in this IT world that we live in, we all need, we don't need to be the one, the 360% of the solution. So we have integrations, we have connections with different reward schemes partners and things like that. So at the end, nowadays, one loyalty initiative is actually 5 or 6 best practice solution connected. And there's a lot of IT experts now that sometimes find ways to breach it and seed
Yeah.
data. So they could seed lucky numbers. I've seen things like that, and this is a huge mess. They've found ways to redeem and that redemption not cash out, and then you can redeem over and over and over. So some of them were easy to predict and easy to solve as well, but we are rushing to release it, and no one really cares about the IT guys saying, I don't think this should be launched now. We need more tests. So most of them is lack of testing and making sure it's bulletproof. But sadly, I've seen millions of different currency monies being spent on loopholes.
Great. So, bringing to the last question, question three. In chapter 78 in Blind Loyalty, we talk about QSR and restaurant loyalty. And that's again something I know you know a lot about. What do you think has been, or what, in your opinion, is the most compelling loyalty experience you've either had personally or you've been involved in building in restaurants or QSR?
Cool. I think the most compelling approach is when we are able to get access to things that are not necessarily the standard menu. So if I could, by being a loyal member, you have this in the big fast food chains where you could have your special order. I don't want this in my plate. Could this be just for the loyal members? Like, because this gives more harass, this gives more work for us to do it. So could I have access to an additional item on my plate by being a loyal member? I've seen this happening in small pizzerias, in small restaurants where they don't change the menu, but hey, you are our friend. I know you like this is special for you. So there is the Renato special at the pizzeria because he wants that extra topping and they know me. Otherwise, it's always we need to always follow the recipe. So could we start doing this in
Mm.
more higher scale, giving the
Yeah.
possibility for loyal members to have their own plate, their own dish ready to go?
You're absolutely right. So many amazing ideas come out of smaller organizations because they just do it on that individual scale run by the owner. But to be able to scale that globally or nationally is a different challenge. But let's hope that can happen. So who would you like to tag to come onto the Blind Loyalty Challenge?
Cool. So I wanted to invite here Rui Cordeiro. He is also a Portuguese here and a lawyer practitioner, and I wanted to hear more about his insights. He managed, or he now is a consultant as me with serving multiple brands, but he used to manage a bigger retail B2E program here, and it's a huge success here in Portugal. So I wanted to tackle his brain a bit more, and with your help, of course.
Well, we'll come up with some amazing questions. So give me a question. It might be for him, but for someone else as well. So give me your best shot at a hard question for someone.
Cool. My hardest question here is in your loyalty scheme, how many members are there not to succeed? That's the question. So basically what means is most loyalty programs invite a lot of people that will never be able to get to the smallest reward. So that's what I want to know.
Gotcha.
What are you doing and how is your thought on having a lot of people that you are inviting to the program that will not love you? Like they will not like you because you're inviting them to an impossible goal. So I wanted to hear more professionals talking about this issue. The people that are here that is unqualified to be loyalty, but we call you our loyal member. We ask you to get to that goal that we know that you can't get there.
What a great question. You know, when we ask in our white paper every year if South Africans, it's a South African loyalty white paper research. It's called the Loyalty Truth and Brand Map Loyalty White Paper. We ask the question, how many of you use loyalty programs? And then it's 82% of South Africans use it, but 20, therefore 18% don't use loyalty programs. So we ask that 18% of the population, why don't you use it? And the number one response is I don't spend enough to ever get to a reward. And
Exactly.
then the second point is I just don't use the program enough to get to a reward, which I kind of say the same thing, but exactly plays to what you've just said. So a brilliant, brilliant question. It's never been asked before. Nothing like that's been asked before. So I love that. So
Cool.
Renato,
I'll be waiting anxious for the answer or
yeah, yeah.
some replies on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. Brilliant question. Lovely interview. Thank you so much. And say hi to Lisbon for me.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Amanda.